Zoom and risk management and child protection and Zoom bombing and all that stuff. We are going to lock all of this down now.
Lockdown.
So, first and foremost, update. If you've been prompted by the Zoom to update this, just do it. It takes like 2 seconds. It's not like some other larger program stuff. We can assume some of their security changes are part of this new update. So do that as soon as it pops up, right? Just to give you some context, the Zoom bombing thing, and they use that interchangeably with the word hack. These people weren't hacking anything. Proper hackers are out there getting them some Bitcoin and all sorts of, global scheming. They're not messing with your MIP classes, although, right, super interesting. This is what the Zoom link used to look like before they updated things and changed things. So people were just changing a couple digits in that link and seeing what you get. I tried it 5 times, and on my 6th time, I got Dr. or Professor Sipple, somebody in somebody's class. I was 4 days off, but you can imagine if you're extremely bored and nefarious and want to mess things up, it might not take long before you would change a couple digits and Zoom bomb. That's all it was. This is the new link. It's much more akin to our Google Doc. Our math teachers can tell us how long it would take for somebody to, actually hit something that worked. But we're going to do a couple things today. I'll show you 3 things to lock it down. The first and foremost thing we're going to do over here is, if you haven't gone to your settings, do so. Zoom.us. We've seen it before. Command F, waiting room. Enable that waiting room. Some of you are like, the waiting room is annoying. It doesn't have to be that annoying. I'll show you how to avoid the waiting room annoying stuff. So let's just say you're going to call your channel. I'm going to call this character right here. Meet. Now, as soon as this window, the video conference window opens up, click on participants. Because what we're not seeing sometimes is the multiple, this person needs in, this person needs in. Now over here on my secondary, a little slow on the kid computer. It makes sense, right? I got other things. I got 8,000 tabs and YouTube over here. Now this will pop up. Let's go back to our video. Click on, I already had it open. I'll close it. So this is what most of your stuff will look like. Just your normal window. Click on participants and this extra thing pops up. Now when the student says, yes, I'd like to learn today, they'll pop up over here. And you'll see all of them. You recognize the avatar. If they change it, they change it. But that last name's always, I think 92% of our kids, his last name is capitalized. You recognize this stuff, right? If it has I want a tinkle or whatever that is, we don't let them in. We hit remove. Cool. Now I'm going to let that kid in. Kid's over here. Drag his window over. Using waiting rooms is not that complicated. I always leave that participant thing over here. Now have a look. If we click on that down caret business, pop out, and you can shove this someplace else. I have another video coming out. If you're using a secondary monitor, how to make everything very nice with share screen, chats here, participants there, and you can see everything much easier than this condensed, complicated version. And you can move this wherever you want. Leave that thing open. That way if somebody pops off, you see them there, and maybe you don't see their little box kind of thing, right? So our student's going to leave. Second thing is password. Now, we all need to be using the waiting room. If we use that, it's pretty much foolproof. We shouldn't have any issues. There might be times when you are, I don't know, sharing a link, you'll still have it. You'll still be there letting people in. But you can also turn on that password. So if we go back over to this one, say the student missed that call, which is down here. The meeting's still open. They're going to hit join. It requires a password. Now, once I open up any one meeting, I come over here, and we've seen this before. I click on the I can take this and both these items, the URL for this specific meeting and this password link, and I can dump those into the chat of the channel. Some of you are like, well, how do I go in between? Have a look. I'm just going to get rid of that. Between this and this and this and this. There's your command on your Mac, and right next to your Z button is the guion. Do command guion, and you can go in between any pages within one program. So if you got 6,000 Keynote pages open, you can go through them all that way. I only got two things open. I got my video conferencing window, and I got my chat, home, meetings, contact page in Zoom. So this is where I can post that password. And this person over here can type it in, or they can copy and paste. And they're kids, so they're not going to do it right the first time, because that's, you know, that's part of the learning process. That's what kids do. Trust me, it works. Hold on. Nah, it's a different meeting. That's fine. Kid doesn't need to be in there anyhow. Oh, let's look at that. All right. Here we go. Password. Participant ID. My bad. So you're like, you're highlighting the wrong thing, and I can't hear you because this is it's not live. So we'll try that again. Join call. You can literally copy this if you want with that, with those little three dots. And now student joins with password. So if you use waiting room, if you use waiting room and password,
double Zoom lockdown.
And let's just see what else happens real quick. I'm not going to let this kid in. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to hit my participants right over here. And I'm going to remove that person, and they're going to be very dejected on the other computer. Now, what's going to stop a kid from inviting somebody else? Well, they can do that, right? But that kid will still pop up, or whoever that is, will pop up into that waiting list. Equally, they would, in this case, they're going to also need waiting list and password. But if I really want to lock this down, once this meeting is open, I come to my participants. I'm going to open that up. At the bottom, this bottom more, there's carrots all over in this. Click on this one. Is it this one? Lock meeting. Now, over here, I wouldn't lock a kid out, but let's just say this is Mr. Nefarious, who somehow got the link to this because he's, you know, he's a learning hacker and he wants to start off slow with Zoom and move his way up to Bitcoin. He's going to join this meeting. He has the password. It's supposed to be locked. Let's see what happens. Join. This meeting has been locked by host.
Triple Zoom lockdown.
That's right. So you can. You all need to use that waiting room. Waiting room is a non-negotiable for us now. This is the way we avoid our kids doing dumb stuff. Equally, if somebody were to Zoom bomb, if everybody's in class and somebody with some random avatar and a random non-Go ISB kind of sounding name wants in, just remove them. If they're really somebody else who got onto that with the wrong account, they'll message you. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, it's me. But you got to take the secure route with that. Second thing we can do, we can use passwords, which are not that complicated. If somebody calls you, let's have a look, directly, which I just did, you don't need a password. Let's say somebody, not us, was just using passwords. If you call them directly, you don't need a password. It wouldn't work. If they miss a call and try to come in late, like this kid did, they need a password, right? So, waiting room.
Down.
Password on top of waiting room.
Double Zoom lockdown.
Waiting room. Password, everybody's in, and then you're going to lock that Zoom. You're going to lock it down.
Triple Zoom lockdown.
It's a lot of lockdown today. But risk management, we're not going to be the school with any weird stories to tell, right? Great. So any questions about locking stuff down? I'm your lockdown guy. Lockdown. Message me in the Zoom and we can Zoom. I will put you in a waiting room this time. It'll take a second. Don't take it personal.